All right, today we're diving into something pretty unique, an audio program that claims it can actually boost your brain function just by listening to it. To get the real story, we're going straight to the source. Everything you're about to see and hear comes directly from the product's own materials. So this whole thing really boils down to one fascinating and, let's be honest, kind of provocative question. Can a sound, literally just a sound you listen to, genuinely make your focus sharper and your memory better? Let's see what the source material has to say about that. So here's our game plan. We'll start with what this brain song even is. Then we'll get into the science it claims to use, look at the benefits they report, walk through the daily ritual, and finally, cover the offer and a guarantee. All right, first up, a song for your brain. Let's unpack what this whole concept is actually about.
Okay, so what are we actually talking about here? It's not a pill, it's not some new supplement. According to the source, it's a 17-minute audio track. That's it. And a key detail here, it's designed to be an auditory experience, something you listen to with headphones.
And they make a really big deal about how different this is. They draw a clear line in the sand. On one side, you have the brain song, which they call audio therapy. It's non-invasive and all about sound frequencies. On the other side, you have your typical brain boosters, pills and supplements that use chemicals and herbs.
So who's the brain behind this brain song? Well, the material points to a Dr. James Rivers. They describe him as a brain scientist, and get this, they say he used training from NASA to help develop the program.
Okay, so we know what it is, but how in the world is a sound supposed to do all this? Let's get into the science, or at least the science according to the source material. The whole mechanism apparently hangs on this one concept: neural entrainment. Now, that sounds complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It's the brain's natural tendency to sync up its own rhythms, its brainwaves, with an external beat. You know, kind of like how you can't help but tap your foot to a song. This is like that, but for your brainwaves. So they lay out this 4-step process. Step 1, you listen to the audio. Easy enough. Step 2, your brainwaves start to sync up with that sound. That's the neural entrainment part. Step 3, and this is where it gets interesting, they claim this boosts a key brain protein called BDNF. And finally, step 4, more BDNF means better overall brain health. That's the chain of events they're presenting. And to help us wrap our heads around what BDNF even is, they use this fantastic analogy. They call it brain fertilizer. I mean, that makes perfect sense, right? The idea is that this protein helps your brain cells grow and make stronger connections, which is exactly what you need for things like better memory and faster learning. So if this isn't a pill, what are the active ingredients? Well, instead of vitamins or herbs, the source says it's all about specifically crafted sound frequencies. These are apparently based on something called gamma waves, which are the type of brainwaves neuroscientists have linked to really high-level thinking. We're talking deep focus, learning, and pulling up memories. Okay, that's the theory, but what's the payoff? What are the actual results you're supposed to get? Let's dig into the brain-boosting benefits they claim users will experience. Well, the source lays out a few big ones. You've got things like better memory and recall, which is huge. Then there's improved focus and concentration, and just an overall feeling of more mental clarity. And they say it's not just a short-term fix. They position it as something that supports long-term brain health. Plus, a big selling point is that it's just simple to use. But really, if you strip it all away, the one promise that really stands out is this: clearing away brain fog. You know that feeling, right? That mental slowness where you're just not sharp? That's the main dragon this thing claims to slay. Okay, so how do you actually use this thing? How does it fit into your day? Well, that brings us to what they call the 17-minute ritual. And the key number here is just 17 minutes. That's it. The source material really plays up how short that is, framing it as something super easy to fit into anyone's busy schedule. And the instructions couldn't be simpler. They just say to find a quiet spot where you can be alone for a bit, pop on some headphones, and listen once a day. They suggest it works well either first thing in the morning to get your day started right, or maybe right before you need to really buckle down and focus on work. All right, let's talk business. The final piece of the puzzle is the offer and the guarantee. What do you get and what does it cost, according to the source? The price tag listed in the source material is $69. They do mention, though, that special offers or discounts might pop up from time to time on their official website, so it's worth a look. And it's not just the audio track you're getting. They present it as a whole package. So along with the brain song itself, you also get 3 bonus gifts: a guide called the 1-Minute Memory Saver, a recipe book with 15 memory smoothies, and another guide on building habits for a stronger memory. Now, this next number is a big one, and they really lean into it. 90, as in a 90-day money-back guarantee. The idea is you can try it for 3 whole months, and if you're not happy, you get a full refund. They frame it as a totally risk-free deal. And one last very important thing to mention, the source material includes a disclaimer. It makes it very clear that this is all for informational purposes and it is not medical advice. They strongly recommend that you always talk to a doctor before you start any new health routine. So there you have it. That's the story of the brain song, as told by its own creators, connecting sound, brain waves, and proteins. It really leaves you with a pretty big question, doesn't it? Is this kind of thing, using just audio, the future of how we boost our own brains?